Hello and welcome back. This is episode number 4 of the Agency Advantage Show. This is a show for those of you who are agency owners in the copywriting, in the design, and in the digital marketing spaces who want to scale your business faster. All right, I'm Heather Pasansky. Today we're going to be talking about how to have an ROI discussion during your sales calls or during your reviews with clients so that you can close more business. I am super excited for this. Let's dive right in to today's update. So our updates are just little tidbits of information that you can use to strengthen your position within your agency with your clients. So those of us who have the most knowledge typically are the ones who are the most successful in the industry, especially since experts are predicting an economic downturn this year. Okay, if it's not happening kind of right now, they're predicting a massive market correction by the end of this year. That always hurts us, all right? Always hurts us in the agency world. And that is because a lot of businesses will see marketing as a cost that is easily cut. All right, we are not a fixed expense, we're a variable expense. And a lot of businesses, when they're shopping, are going to start with their marketing budget, whether it's smart or not. We know that it is not really a great decision. There actually is a story, and I don't know exactly what the businesses were that involved. I think that way back in the day during the Great Depression, and this isn't the update. This is kind of an aside, getting distracted. But way back in the day, back in the Great Depression era, the top cereal brand, I'm going to say it was Quaker. I don't know if it was actually Quaker. But whatever the top cereal brand was, they slashed their marketing budget in half, as did pretty well everyone else in the space. However, there was one cereal company that instead of slashing their marketing budget in half, they actually doubled their marketing budget. And that particular cereal company, I don't remember who it is, and I should have looked it up, but I didn't know I was going to go down this route till I popped on. But that particular cereal company, they have maintained the number 1 market position ever since the Great Depression era because of that move. So that's a really cool story that you can share with your clients as we start to see that happening throughout the year if everything pans out as all of the economic experts are predicting. Now, the real update of this week, though, is that their top marketing experts like Seth Godin, like Mark Schaefer, they are all predicting that brands are going to be forced to put the social back in social media. And I cannot be happier. I'm so excited for this. So we know that social media has kind of shifted away from being social and into being a little bit more passive. So where people are just kind of like watching stuff, but they're not really commenting or they're not really engaging. And most of that really, I think, comes from the way that we present content as brands. We are presenting stuff that is maybe more promotional based or is more I'm talking instead of engaging. And I'm really excited to see this shift of putting the social back in social media. But certainly if social media is a big part of your business, either from a client acquisition aspect or because you help do social media for clients, this is definitely something that you'll want to make a big part of your strategy moving forward, because we can see and hear from all the different conversations from, Facebook to Instagram being the kind of major ones that social cues are really, really important, and they're making a big shift towards that. So let's get into the main topic here, how to have an ROI discussion so that you can close more business. Yay! I've got 4 tips for you here today, are kind of 4 steps to help you walk through that ever important ROI discussion without overwhelming your client or sending off their BS detector. Because let's get real here. Most of the time when clients hear ROI discussions, I think we feel that we're doing a great job. We're like, hey, look at this. And then the client kind of goes, well, I don't think that I can afford it. And you go, I just showed you how amazing the ROI is. And you're telling me that you don't want to do this, and we get flabbergasted. And the truth is it's because the way that we structure the ROI discussion is not usually that strong. So let's walk through how we can strengthen that, shall we? Step number one is to make sure that we are gathering their numbers before we get to that ROI discussion. So earlier in the discussion, before we want to get into this ROI discussion, is if we try to do it here, the client's going to be skeptical. They're going to put their guard up. So earlier on in our sales conversation, we want to be gathering the numbers like, okay, so can you tell me a little bit about what is an average client worth to you over a lifetime? And if they don't know, because a lot of times we get in and our clients don't know their numbers, okay? If they don't know, then I want you to make sure it's part of your prep to be prepared with some of those industry standard numbers. So Google it, all right? Google it. You can definitely Google the average cost to visit a dentist, or what is the average restaurant bill in whatever city. If you live in the city, you probably have a pretty good idea. You can even pre-look at their menu of services, and you can say, well, do most people come in for one visit? Do they come in for 3 visits? And you can kind of help to take the numbers from there. All right. So don't overwhelm them. Don't ask them to go digging for information, but use industry standards if you don't have it, and just ask them, does that sound about right for you in your business? And they'll say yes, or they'll say no. A lot of times they'll think their numbers are better. You can certainly roll with that, but if they think their numbers are better than industry standard, you can say something like, well, industry standard is this, so I want to be conservative with you so that if we hit it out of the park, you know, if you're doing better, then your numbers are going to be even better, but let's be conservative on this, right? And you can kind of reel it back in, because sometimes people are, they maybe think they're doing a little bit better than they are, all right? So we want to get their numbers, we want to get their numbers, but we want to get them early in the conversation. We want to find out what is their average client value. We want to find out, you know, if 10 people were to call you, about how many people would actually book an appointment. Of those people who book an appointment, how many people actually show up? How many people actually become customers? Get that information from them early in the conversation while you're talking about their goals, so that when you get to the ROI discussion, it doesn't feel like it's a trick, right? But you have real, true data so that you can have an honest discussion with them around whether or not you can get them that ROI. The second part of this is you don't want to overwhelm them with the math. So a lot of times we walk them through and we say, if this, then that, if this, then that, if this, then that. So if you can get just 10 calls, that means that you're going to get 6 people who show up, which means you're going to get 3 appointments, and people start hearing all those numbers and they start to unwind a little bit if they're not a numbers person, right? And so what I would do is start with the end in mind. Do the math, kind of walk them through it, but start the discussion at the end point and say, let me walk you through how we got to a 3 times ROI. So that means for every $1 that you put into marketing with us, you should be able to pull out $3 on the back end of this, and be honest about how long it will take for you to get to that result. Okay. So there's, I'm actually going to add in here that part of the ROI discussion is not just return on investment, but it's also going to be a return of investment discussion. So they want to know how long it will take for them to get their investment back, as well as knowing how much money they can make for every $1 that they put in. So don't miss out on that part of the return on investment and the return of investment. We also want to give them a best case and a worst case scenario, okay? So a best case scenario, or even an average and a worst case scenario. So I would maybe even go with average and worst versus the best case, because the best case, that might be all they hear. So give them an average case, give them a worst case scenario, and that way they can be prepared. And what we're doing there is we're just under promising, over delivering. Yes, you may lose some deals to competitors who come in and over promise, but the fact is that if you continue following up with them, they're going to eventually be really disillusioned with the other company, and it's going to work out in your benefit anyways. And the fourth thing, when you're ending your ROI conversation, I want you to use these words. I'm really confident that we can make this happen. Okay? Using that I'm confident that we can get you this particular ROI, just that statement alone. And you're going to want to be careful about your tone. You don't want to go into, you don't want to act like the cocky sales guy who kind of walks in and he's like, oh, I'm confident, blah, blah, blah. But if you do it kind of lightheartedly, like, hey, I'm really confident that we can make this happen for you, right? That doesn't feel pushy. It actually feels really genuine. And so as you're doing this, you want to practice on your tone as well. And if you have genuine intentions, it's going to come off a lot more genuine. So just be genuine in your intentions. Be genuine in what you're promising. Be genuine in what you think that you can deliver. Be genuine in saying, hey, you know what? It might take us 3 months to crack your funnel and we might make you no money in the first 3 months. However, once we get this thing going, then this is the return that you can expect. And I'm confident that we can do that because we've done it a bunch of times before. All right. So let's end up with our chasers, a little bit of a shorter episode here. But my chaser for the week, I wanted to introduce you to an account on Instagram that we found. I know we did an Instagram account last week, but this one is just really, really funny. So this is it's a business coach and a copywriter who got together and they opened up this really funny this really funny Instagram account. It's called My Business. I'm just looking on my phone here to make sure I get it right. My Business Coach Says. Right? I think that's it. It's at My Business Coach. Oh shoot. Maybe that's not it. Hold on. That's what I wrote down and that's what I thought it is. Oh no. Okay. I think that's it. I'm going to try to find it here. But essentially this account it's just a meme account. And it's just so funny for those of you who have ever dealt with clients who don't get you stuff on time or dealing with deadlines or, anything that we deal with in kind of the agency world, you are going to appreciate the memes on this account. So it is My Business Coach Says, okay? Just look that up and that seems to be right. It seems to be working and definitely go check them out because it's hilarious and it will make your day. Not affiliated with them at all, but I just think that their account is absolutely hysterical. Sorry, it's My Biz Coach Says, B-I-Z. So My Biz Coach Says, B-I-Z Coach Says. And I just think it's so funny. Some of these memes. I'm going to pull one up here for you and read it to you. So this one here is just, Snow White kind of laying in the forest and she's all dejected. She's just like, oh gosh, she's almost like fainted in the middle of the forest. And it just says, you okay? Actually has a swear word in it. I won't say that, but not that I have an issue with swearing. I just don't want to mess up any sort of algorithm or if we decide to boost this later, but it just says, you okay? And it says, when you follow up with a client who said they'd have you their content 3 weeks ago. So good. So we can all relate to that account. Definitely go check it out. Guys, it's been a pleasure. I am so excited to be doing this show. It's been really, really fun for me. I hope it's been as fun for you as well. And we will see you in next week's episode. Bye for now.